forbidden history. Buddha was Caucasian with blonde hair and blue eyes. New findings are forcing some to examine ancient Chinese books. They describe historical and legendary characteristics as tall with blonde or green eyes and red or blonde hair. These stories exist but were thought to be myths and legends, and now it turns out that these stories are true and not myths at all. The landscape of China was not only filled with huge pyramids, but also hundreds of ancient blonde mummies with Caucasian features. The discoveries in the 1980s, mysterious structures in the Gobi Desert, and blonde mummies brought to light that the things were hidden. Who were these so-called, since 1930s, also genuine Caucasian, who said that the Greek-born National Socialists rightly said that Buddha was a Caucasian. From the available evidence, it was found that during the first 1,000 years after China, there were only Caucasians. The people of East Asia began to appear in the eastern parts of the Tarim Basin about 3,000 years ago, Meyer stated. The first Mongolian leader, Temujin, 1167 to 1227 AD, was a man of Scandinavian racial characteristics. According to the Persian historian Ab-ul-Ghazi, his mother was known as Alangoa, a beautiful Alan. The Mongol tribes appeared later in the region, and according to Mongolian and Chinese chronicles on the subject, they write that in ancient times, a divine being with golden hair had visited the region. Shortly after this visit, the first member of the Burari Koan Aryan, the Nordic Alpine tribe, was born in China. Temujin herself was noted in Chinese descriptions of him for his tall stature and beard. We should also note the following description of Temujin's appearance as given by Harold Lamb in his biography of the great Genghis Khan. He was tall, his skin was of golden white tan, he had a sloping forehead, that is European, his eyes were not slanted and were green or blue-gray, and he had braids down to his back. Ab-ul-Ghazi also noted that the family of Yesukai, Temujin's father, and their children often had pale skin and blue or gray eyes. In fact, Temujin's relatives and descendants also had clear features. Temujin's son and successor, Ogadei, had gray eyes and red hair. Temujin's grandson, Mangu, had reddish eyebrows and a reddish beard. Subatei, who conquered China, had a long reddish beard, and most of Genghis Khan's descendants had reddish hair and blue eyes. Others changed it and said that Kublai Khan had black hair and eyes. It's not surprising because they changed it, and also they did that in other countries as well. The descriptions they mention are the Dorian Vikings, who were one and the same with ancient Greeks, and more specifically with the ancient Spartans. We know that the name of Denmark comes from the tribe of Dan. Okay, the Spartans had gone into Scotland and into Scandinavia. Now the Spartans were described as having blonde hair, often red in earlier times, and not black as they are shown in movies. Bacchylides wrote that the hair of the Spartans was blonde, while also being noted that the golden hair of the athletes in the Nemean Games. The Spartans were Dorians, Heraclides, a mixed-race people of the Mediterranean after the Turkish occupation, did not even know that the so-called Germans were genuine Dorians in their majority, as were those around the Caucasus Mountains. So it's no wonder then why Buddha and the sacred swastika that they had from all over Europe, along with the Doric race in the near future, is the symbol of flow and bliss. The two lines that create the swastika are the spirit along with matter, and the four hooks indicate the movement of the world in the infinite and eternal cycle. Because of this influence, it also symbolizes man himself, whose purpose over time is to combine the great contradictions and, in the end, to complete the eternal union. And here again, the barbarics, together with the Greeks, say that the Germans stole it from Greeks, as if Greeks were the only people in the area. Now note the Doric salute is very ancient, and they used it because they consider themselves to be descendants of ancient Greeks in today's world. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.